and welcome to the SciFirst MovieTalk episode. In this episode, I'll be discussing the 2021 action comedy Free Guy, as directed by Shawn Levy and starring Ryan Reynolds as Guy, a character in an online multiplayer video game known as Free City, who starts to learn that there is more to life than the monotony of his pre-programmed routine. Living in Free City, Guy goes about his own business, being a bank teller and looking after his goldfish, as you do, whilst all around him banks and shops are being held at gunpoint and buildings are exploding, until one day he meets Millie, aka Molotov Girl. I can never do those handles, never can say those handles, no more so than I can actually say anything. That's about the fifth take I've actually tried to do that as well. But as played by Jodie as a player from the real world with whom Guy has an instant attraction. In order to impress Millie, Guy rises through the ranks, earning player experience points, being the good guy, and in the process captures the world's imagination. However, Guy soon realises that his world is not all it seems, and together with Millie, they look to find a way to save everything and everyone around him from being obliterated once the new version of the game goes live. Now, up front, I knew this would be my kind of thing. Big budget action, intriguing premise, lots of meta references, and just out and out loud and bolshy fun. And it most certainly didn't disappoint in that respect. Oh boy, no. The life within a video game thing has been done so many times before, of course. So the film didn't really kind of present itself as something new, but unlike many of the other kind of similarly themed movies around this car out there, you know, this one was never designed to take itself too seriously, with more of a kind of a Ready Player One meets The Truman Show vibe, mixed with the thrill and the energy of games such as Grand Theft Auto and Fortnite. The movie has some scintillating special effects, I thought. They have gone all out, and the gaming world that they have created, although not the most expansive out there, is amazingly detailed and a truly immersive kind of visual display. The contrast they have worked into kind of the cinematography between the Free City and the real world is simply and sharply done, and it works to really engage between the kind of differing realms and realities. It had a number of interesting kind of turns of events that didn't necessarily play out like I thought they would. To the movie's advantage, I must say. It was quite a lot more existential than it would first kind of appear, or even kind of lets on, posing a number of questions about AI, ethics, life and self-being, without ever really feeling burdensome or weighed down with any of those ideas, but creating a talking point in any event, or at least they did in our household, as boring as we are. There's plenty of kind of nods to both retro and gaming, retro gaming, and both retro and new, but it really wasn't as kind of saturated as I thought it would be with pop culture references. Instead, opting to kind of reflect on the gaming experience itself rather than any one or particular kind of few games specifically, You can kind of see the kind of games and the visuals and references that they were based on, for sure. But it kind of still steps out and does its own thing. A game in its own right, It's not trying to emulate any one specific thing. Equipped with its own glitches, hang-ups, and buffering side missions, Now, that's not to say it's caught lacking. There are plenty of things going on in the background, And some moments you really do have to be keen to kind of spot. But it all flows very well and is probably one of the best, most realistic interpretations of kind of an open source and open space multiplayer game than most. And indeed, in the final act, it pretty much goes crazy with references to much beloved franchises. Star Wars, Marvel, Portal, and even Fortnite all get a look in. It all kind of comes a little left field, I must say, given the way that the rest of the film has kind of been constructed. But I loved it nonetheless. I love that kind of thing, if you don't know me by now. Being the kind of sucker for this kind of stuff I am, And it ends up being a bit, I don't know, it ends up being a bit look at me kind of thing, look at me, but still tremendous fun. And in that, Ryan Reynolds is in his element here, doing what he does best. And it looks like he's having great fun hogging the limelight once again, But in all fairness, I must say that Comer also does an absolutely fantastic job and the on-screen chemistry that between them both is brilliantly playful. Naive at times, but totally charming, you know, given that Guy starts off as a noob. It's not all that particularly science fiction either, apart from one aspect, which does revolve around AI, of course, which, to be quite fair, we are probably even closer to that than we probably know we are. But everything else is technology and terminology that we use now, which I do think adds a kind of a level of realism and relevance grounded in our reality, if you like, you know? It feels like a game of today, not something of tomorrow, like some of the other ones, like Ready Player One, for instance, you know? From the outside looking in, it looks like a game, and the film makes great use of this fact visually, as the free city characters are rendered on players' screens, you know? And in the vast differences between the players' characters and the players themselves, what we perceive and the actual reality of it all is, you know? It can get a bit techie at times. It can be a bit of a geeky movie, as certain elements are explained. But even as it delves into those aspects, it's still tremendous fun from a geek. Some of the movie does get a bit corny, admittedly, but it's all done in a very light-hearted and well-meaning way. And let's face it, quite a lot of the large open-world multiplayer games out there, or at least the ones I have seen, are often wacky, you know? You have bananas killing people in gorilla outfits, and all sorts of things, don't you know? Well, don't ask me what games Oliver's been playing, but full of outlandish characters, expression, and diverse gameplay. And this movie captures all of this within the world created for Free City, which I think it does go some way to kind of capture the essence of gaming in general, and what it can kind of bring to the table, and what it can represent. Aside from Guy and Millie, there are some great characters. You know, Buddy, as played by Lil Rel Howery, is excellent as Guy's tepid and content best friend. You know, he's happy with his 9 to 5. And about 5 takes to say this name. I'm not even going to try anymore. I'm going to leave the rest of the stuff for the bloopers. The guy who directed Thor Ragnarok, as Antoine, you know, he provides a very odd antagonist. But for me, perhaps a little irritating, but that's only my personal thing. I get what he was going for. You know, he's a complete tool who looks like he couldn't even tie his own shoelaces, never mind even program a Casio calculator, you know? So in this respect, it was a fun performance. I just found it personally hard to warm to. But good. I thought, yeah, I mean, I think in the overall scheme of things, it was a good performance. Everybody gave a pretty decent, rounded affair here. I did enjoy the way everything kind of worked out in the end as well. Very satisfying. Indeed, we had an awesome kind of fight scene and a thrilling build-up with the climax, you know, to some insane effects, you know, all to boot. But in the end game, the solution, I thought it was fitting and considered, I thought, and playing well to the character's strengths, or indeed weaknesses. But that we had come to kind of witness throughout the movie, and it did. I think it brought everything round full circle to what would be a very satisfying conclusion. Finally, I also love the references to noobs. Being one myself many times over, and probably still classified as such on many of the games I play, and suffering the wrath of my son for ending up dead the minute I actually step foot and the character spawns on screen. Indeed, we have all been there once. Of course we have. A bit like driving, we do forget sometimes, and Guy is such a fantastic example to set for us all. Overall, this was an absolute blast of a movie with a brilliantly fun concept that got us kind of stuck right in with an immersive and responsive gaming world. With some excellent direction, almost non-stop Reynolds, and some amazing special effects. This is indeed a kind of film you kind of need to turn up loud on a Saturday night with a big bucket of popcorn. And what do you know? All those supporting characters in Roblox, they have feelings too. Who'd have thought it? Next time I'm blowing one up or inadvertently riding one over with a car that has worse mechanics than an unoiled minecart, I'll spare them a thought. So, that brings me to the end of this episode. Many thanks for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please leave a like. Please do hit that subscribe button for more movie reviews, trailer reactions, and other movie-related content. Absolutely loved having you here at SciFirst MovieTalk, and definitely love to have you back. Most of all, just thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.